start?
Actually, I do. It's got nothing to do with tonight, but Nacho is retiring. His last day is February 6th. So if anybody wants to sign a little going away card, I have one here for him. If you know him and want to sign.
You want to say who Nacho Ochoa is?
Ignacio Ochoa is Director of Engineering, but he did interim public works for a very long time. And without him, we would have been kicked around like a freaking soccer ball after the fire. And he's come to our aid and rescue several times over the last 6 years. So great guy. Sorry to see him go.
Thank you. Any other public comments? Okay, we'll move on to the next item, consent calendar. Does anybody have anything that they wanted to take off the consent calendar? And I wanted to read you the correspondence that we got. It actually came in October from Marty Wheel, and I realized we never read it into the records. So Marty actually sent it to Tom, and I got a copy. It says he wanted to give us written notice that he's canceling his agreement with the SMRPD. Thank you, Marty. And that was, he was going to do some kind of a technology something, and nothing ever happened, so he's canceling. So that'll go, Bev, this will go with the minutes too. Is there a motion to accept the consent calendar?
I make a motion to accept the consent calendar.
Sorry.
Second?
We're on the consent calendar.
Now, do we need to have everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, so, Tom, oh yeah, you do.
Yes,
So you accept the consent
I
calendar?
made the motion.
Do you accept it, Craig? Do you accept it?
Yeah.
Shay, do you accept it?
Yes.
And
You do?
okay. Okay.
So the motion passed unanimously. There's been the reason she just did that is there's this change in state law, and all the votes have to be recorded now by roll call. Or it's so close to that that we decided to just do it to make sure that nobody could say we'd done anything wrong. Treasurer's report. Brian, do you want to?
Slide right in.
You want Lindy to go first? Lindy, can we have you go first?
Pleasure. Hi. Okay, everybody really comfortable? Now I'm going to ask you all to get up and we'll come take a look at the Children's Center, okay? Who's never been here before? And if you've been here before, then even better, because you'll see some changes. So this is the room that they use for creative movement and calendar and group time. But mostly the preschool uses the room over here, and the school age kids use the room over here. So let's go stretch, let's take a little walk, okay?
Can we get a milk break?
Sugar, yeah, we go to the meetings, we talk about it, but you don't really have a feel for, the passion that's here, the space that's here, the possibilities that are here for kids. The sad thing for me is that, my kids are too old and I don't have any grandchildren, but this is the environment that I would want for them. So I think, if you, I talked to a couple of people and they said, yeah, there's a couple of kids in my neighborhood. So look around and let people know that we're here. They pick up at the local, or not local, but in Orange, at the schools for after school care. So spread the word, because, it's a great place.
Do they pick up at Chapman only, or what other schools?
They pick up at Trabuco, and then Chapman has a bus that gets dropped off. So
How many children do you have presently now?
we have 10 preschoolers, and I think there's about 14 or 16 after-school kids. They don't all come every day, but that's kind of where the numbers are. So, and just getting a few more kids makes a huge difference. So anyway, so please help us out that way. I've worked on a budget for a proposed budget for the next fiscal year. And I met with a couple of people about it today, this past week. I met with Greg yesterday, so we're tweaking some numbers. But even with adding in some expense lines that I felt like were missing, just some accountability for, really what are the true costs, with, a reasonable enrollment, I think that it's really doable. And so, you know, we're still tweaking with it, and I'm sure that, you know, that's something that the board will go over when I'm all finished with it. But with, you know, doing some lean staffing, but something that's, you know, doable. You know, the bare bones are here. The staff is fantastic. You know, that's why I'd want my children here, you know, is the staff. So, okay, so I'm gonna hurry. So I remember when I first came, I had done sort of an outline of what I felt like needed to be done here. And if you recall, the very last thing on there was marketing, and I think that's where we're at now. I think the place, you know, the school looks good. I think that we're ready to market. So I think that's the next step. So my recommendation, you know, as I was speaking with a couple of the board members, is that you hire a director that, with sort of an understanding that, you know, the place needs to be self-sufficient. It needs to be self-funded. And that you give that person the opportunity, you know, to do like a really great summer program. These kids have to go somewhere, you know, that are in school and their parents work, you know, and I think that there's big possibilities for that. So even when I was doing the budgeting, the summer program, you know, was very reasonable. I mean, I'm not talking 25 children, and I think it's doable. So that's kind of where I'm at. You know, I'm going to go over some more numbers, and but in the meantime, for example, I got a call today that somebody who used to come wants to start again. So that was a nice phone call on Thursday, as a matter of fact. So they want to start Thursday. So you know, there's kids out there, and it's just figuring out and getting the realtors that sell properties around here, you know, getting them together and saying, okay, where are the kids? And sorry.
One of the things that I think there's a need for is being open when the regular schools aren't. You know, like on Martin Luther King Day. Most people have to work on those days.
Yes.
And then when schools close, the parents have to, you know, scrounge around for someone to bring their kids. And I think that would be a great plus for the community.
That's a very good point. Over the winter break, there were a couple of days that Jenny and I kind of looked at and put out there, you know, do you need, you know, childcare for those days? And, you know, if it's more than, you know, a handful, then it's doable. If it's one child, then it doesn't make sense. But I think, again, letting people know about that is a great way to market. You know, what I think, you know, really kids need to be in, you know, when you're in a center, you know, it's not just pop in, because, you know, there's licensing forms, there's emergency forms, there's things that need to be in place. So as long as with some warning or some people are, you know, kind of enrolled, that's kind of how I see those extra days going, is good for people that are enrolled in the center, even if they're just coming a couple of days. Because then we have our paperwork, and it's not a babysitting kind of thing, because truthfully, the staff here is too talented to call it anything but, you know, a learning center.
You can still reach out to the surrounding communities though, yeah?
Yes, the person that called today lives in Aliso Viejo. So, you know, we just need to grab the people that are, you know, I don't know, roadblock or something, you know, just the people that are going to work and coming back. So, any questions? Anything else?
Thank you, Lindy.
Thank you again for
Great job.
for coming to the center. So, thank you.
Jenny here?
No.
Somebody will lock it.
Yes, you're good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Thank you all very much.
We need,
Do we have a key?
we need a key.
I'm gonna go get it for you right now and hand it to you. Okay?
One for everyone.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're gonna make copies and just we'll be
And,
right back.
I'd like to announce that at the end of the tour, Tim
Thank you.
Janka showed me the side of the building over there, which we've been wondering what to do with, and we had another
Can you
family
punch
who's,
another hole in it?
who's gonna donate the material, and he said that his company would donate, he said the labor, but I should think we should phrase it, most of the labor in case something bad goes on. I don't wanna put him on the hook completely, so I'd like to thank Tim for doing that.
What Lindy didn't talk about, because we don't really have a date yet, we're waiting for the lake to get back with us, but we're gonna continue with the chili cook-up.
Awesome.
So, it'll be either April 27th on a Sunday or May 4th. I'm thinking May 4th, because that would be the day before Cinco de Mayo, and it's a chili cook-off, and that might be really fun. So,
You get back ahead of time, there you go.
No, we're just gonna go through and see how they go. If they get too busy, we'll have to act. Treasurer's report.
First, there's, I pared down what I put in the agenda packet because it got to be much too big. There are details and a detailed P&L. If any, I'm gonna figure out a way to put them on the website if anybody's interested. We had a pretty good chunk of money come in last month, $20,000 in pass-through fees, so, and some taxes. Looks like the arc of our ins and outs is remaining fairly steady. It'll go down for a few months and then we'll get something come in, and we're not doing too bad. The P&L is a year to date, so if you look at it, you'll see how we've done. Right now, she started in August.
Thank you, Ron.
I have a question on the pass-through fees. I know in the past it was 45,000. Is that going to start going down now?
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out. I don't know if, I need to find out from Megan if it came in chunks. Just the fact that it was $20,000 exactly makes me wonder what's changed.
Because I know
I
it
need
used
to
to be
call the county and find out.
45,000.
Yeah.
And there was rumor that it was going to come to an end eventually, so I don't know if this is
And
part of that.
That's what I heard, but I haven't been able to find out anything.
Yeah.
Who knows
It's
the
kind of a vague
details.
thing, it's just been talked about.
I've asked.
All right, thanks.
Okay,
So, are we gonna have, you said there's more information, but it's not on the website?
It will be. If you're interested, I'll send it to you.
Great. Yeah, and it shows an account, we have more of an account.
It's everything that's in that Megan, all of her entries, and a P&L report.
And then, you know, because I always wonder about the expenses of Christmas in the Canyon. So do we have
well, you could wait for the Christmas in the Canyon report, which is coming up soon.
Sign up what's on the agenda.
Great. Oh, there it is right there.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Now we're on to other district business. First item is approval of the annual Riviera parking agreement with St. Michael's Abbey. This is what we've had for the last several years with them, so this is continuing on the same thing for another year, although it will actually go until December 20th. And if we had decided to approve it, we need to change this date to the 14th, to 2014.
Is that posted on the website?
No.
So the public has not had an opportunity to look at it?
It's the same as it was before, and that is posted on the website.
It's the annual
It's
renewal.
the annual renewal. It was, the first one was there.
On the agenda, it says other district business. Are these action items or to be talked about?
Brett, these are the same items that have been on the agendas for all the years that you were on the board.
No, I'm just wondering if they're action items. Are you going to take action on these or are they?
It depends. If there's a motion to do anything, we would take action. If
Okay.
there's no motion, it might be information. It's the same thing that's been on this for the entire time you were on the board. Okay?
have we considered breaking it into action
Yes.
items and?
Yes.
Because
I'm sorry, it's one of my pet peeves to have items on there that we don't vote on. So I'm gonna actually make a suggestion that we restrict the items under other business to vote, items that we're gonna vote on, and other things we can move to either the committee reports, or what I'm gonna try to do, if I can get some help on it, is after a meeting, put out a district report that has these newsy items, because this is such a small part of the voting population in the canyons, and everybody deserves to know this information. So I I agree, because if you look at the other business, it looks like we're gonna be voting on these items, and we're not.
Not necessarily.
It's just be easier for people that are glancing over it to know what's
Yeah.
of interest to them that we might be voting on and whether or not they wanna for sure take their time to come in.
Okay, so what that means to you fellow board members and to anybody in the public is that you have to give me these items before 4 o'clock on Friday, because when I'm the one typing up this agenda and I just get all your random comments, they go down, I cut and paste, and here they are. And if I don't understand, I call you on them, but, so if we want to make the deadline for the agenda a week ahead, then we're going to have time to tweak things, but as it is, with no staff, you guys are getting what you're paying for, so to speak. So,
Well, you could pay somebody.
nah, probably not. We probably don't have that much money in there.
Oh, you got tons of money, honey.
No, we don't, honey. We run the whole district on less than 90,000 a year. And that means that's the whole district. When you read this P&L, you'll see where we're at. We're like, there's no money for anybody that's paid other than the people that we're paying.
So where's the money?
It goes to insurance, it goes to our staff, it goes to electric, it goes to road. You can read the
Attorney.
thing.
We were lucky in the
Look at
last
the
couple of
P&L.
years to get in a couple of pretty good chunks of money, but we can't pretend like that's an ongoing revenue stream, because it's not.
Where's the
And then also, if we really had a budget, then we know.
Where is it?
You guys want to be on the budget committee, thank you. You brought it up
Yeah.
twice, so you get on it.
I
and
just
then
wanna
you're up.
look at it.
Where is it?
It's not on the website.
It's not here.
We have to work on a budget,
We don't have one right
yeah.
now. Not an approved new budget.
Okay, so here we are, we're at, is there a motion to approve the second amendment, which means that we're doing our same parking thing we've done for the last couple of years with the Abbey?
I'll make a motion to
I'll
approve
second.
the Abbey agreement as we have in the past.
I'll second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bev?
Okay, Director Suzie, aye,
Oh, here, look, we'll raise our hand. Aye.
aye. Okay.
Well, ayes raise their hands, sorry.
Everybody's ayes, okay.
You know,
That was easy.
I'll make sure we do that next time.
Okay, next item, Christmas in the Canyons. Tom thinks he's got a final report for us. Tom?
I do. The finances were handled by Robin Chaplin. She's a bookkeeper and she's kept the books. We have a final profit and loss statement, which I will give to Ron, or you can get the actual records and post that on our website. The bottom line is, after all the expenses and, well, actually our income, I'm just gonna summarize it, was $4,082. And that was a combination of booth rental, donations, raffles, hayride, Santa pictures, advertising, and van ride. And van ride, we just ask people for donations. Now, we spend money every year on decorations, because those things, lights go out and stuff gets tattered. So we have decorations, we have printing and postage, which is basically the newspaper that we had. There's no postage, but and the porta potties and signs and materials. And this year we invested in a wagon sleigh ride, so we have that as an asset. This report does not show the assets that we have, but last year we had about $1,300 in decorations, lights, and goodies, and we've added to that this year with the sleigh ride, or the sleigh. So I'm just guessing. It's hard to tell what that thing is. You can't appraise it. We probably have around $1,500 to $1,800 in assets in the shed. Our total net income after we take our income and our expenses was $1,800 to $47.66. So for an event that's totally free to the public and is run by volunteers with their hard work and their time and a lot of donations, we did what the district should do. With that, I want to give the final check to Ron Shepston to reimburse him for the storage containers. He finally found the receipt. We weren't gonna give it to him unless he gave us a receipt. There's your check, Rob. So these numbers will be posted on the website instead of trying to pass out the.
And I noticed a typo in the treasurer's report, shows a deposit of 4028, and it should be 4082.
I'm sorry, can I get clarification? The income was how much?
Yeah.
4082.
And the expenses were how much? I don't think you ever gave a number for that.
2,234.34.
And I will say that Megan does the books, and she adheres to GAAP, which we are legally required to adhere to. So there's little room for
And
fudging.
Greg's the banker, he picks up the money. So it's all done with individuals on the board.
And we have
Not
three,
one person handles
we
everything.
have 3 people count the money.
We do a two-signature thing, so let's say that Wendy's collecting money for hay rides or Santa photos. She gives me the envelope and we count the money and we both sign it, and then it goes to the next thing where we make the deposit with 3 people, so we're.
And by the way, we're the only canyon event that is held to this scrutiny.
I will say that we were $1 off, and I put $1 in the match. I think the counting machine actually made a mistake, because we counted it 3 times, but I went with a stack of bills like this, and I wasn't gonna say, let's hand count them.
I have a question. So this is the income from this year. Did you spend all that you had putting into this
No, we
event
had-
is there a bank account now?
Yeah, we have it, we started the year with about $2,000 in the bank account. Now, that $2,000 is the original
The ending
investment.
balance is down here.
Thank you, sorry.
So the Christmas in the Canyon ending balance right now is, since they started, the profit is $4,787.91
After 2 years.
for 2 years.
After 2 years. We started with a kitty of $2,000 that was reported
3
to us
years.
by the board.
3,000.
3,000.
Okay, I'm
So was
sorry.
that money paid back then?
No, it goes into it's held in the
It's an
account.
SMRPD
So
account.
what's
It's all-
gonna happen with that money?
That was gonna be
It's
my
an
next question.
It's an SMRPD account.
I know, but what's
It's
the
our
plans
money.
for it?
It's held in the
Right now,
bank.
In the bank.
For the next year event.
nothing yet, I
Well,
guess.
It's
This board would need to vote to do
It's
something with
just,
that money,
it's just like
correct?
any other money, and we could spend it
Well,
however we
I
want, or
mean-
we could assign it to a specific
Yeah,
account.
it's just separate.
We've had conversations about what to do with
Yeah.
that money, but right now we just let it ride for another
Glad we
year.
It's
didn't
a
do
slush fund.
In essence, we'd be paying ourselves back, because we borrowed the money from ourselves and the money was back in the
The
account.
$3,000 does need to go back to the general fund.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
what I was getting
Yeah.
at. They never got
It
paid.
does need to.
Yeah, the
So that's what
$3,000 is included in here.
I mean, in the 4,000, but it's in a separate account at this point.
So the $3,000, the
So-
startup fund should go back to the general fund, and Christmas in the Canyon would have 1,000 whatever.
Whatever,
instead.
yeah.
That's,
And it may make sense, because last year it didn't make sense because they didn't have it. And this year it's kind of tight, and they always use a little bit of money to start out, so
yeah.
we may wait another year and then build it another 1,000 and say, okay, now it's time to pay back.
no, I think it should go in.
Okay,
You know,
thank
the $3,000 should go, this is the 3rd year, it should go back into the general fund.
It's essentially general fund money right now.
No.
Yes, you said it's a
Well,
separate.
it is, but it's not, it's
It's in a
It's a
separate
separate
account.
account.
in a separate account.
Here to cause problems or conduct a meeting.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're-
it's like, this is,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all our
it is a
money.
problem. No, it's a.
Hey, let's have our meeting back to order. Thank you. Tom, any more?
No, I'm done
Point
with
out
Christmas
things
and
to
the
cause
Canyon.
problems, not
All
to
right.
help. That's what you do.
I wanna say something about Christmas in the
Yes.
Canyons.
Oh, yeah.
I've been thinking about this a lot, you know, it has the potential to be as big or bigger than the Silverado Country Fair, based on the fact that it's at Christmas time, everybody's happy, they're wanting to shop, we got all the artisans, so it's on its way to becoming something bigger, possibly than the Silverado Country Fair, and
Yeah,
that's
any
cool. 2 days, that's what I have, 2 days,
More volunteers,
2 days.
more volunteers.
Well, think of a proposal and give it to the board. and see.
All right, I
I
will.
think that's a good idea, Shane.
Yeah,
It's a lot of work.
we talked about making it 2 days, but volunteers said
We
no.
have to have security overnight, you'd have to have tear downs, you'd have to have, the fact that it's downtown, you've got a parking problem. We talked about the possibility with the committee of expansion, and the way we could expand would be to go into the parking lot of the cafe with their blessing. That would be a logical, but it's still a downtown event, we still have a parking situation. And again, to stretch it out over 2 days, it's just, there's a lot more problems to it than.
But
Well,
for brainstorming, it's.
We
not a-
do
Yeah.
2.5 days for the Silverado Country Fair, and it's no harder for us. We actually enjoy the second day. And
2
for
days.
those of you that are working really hard, we enjoy the second day because we're done setting up and all that. And we get to go, this is fun. So you might enjoy it.
It's on private, it's not
But
on,
anyway,
Yeah.
it's
as
on
a
private property.
brainstorming idea,
Right.
it's not a bad idea, we just throw
Right.
it out and let's see what else, because maybe we'll come up with some more ideas for.
We'll talk about it next October.
Okay, all right, next
We need the
October.
Boy Scouts to come.
He thinks, there will be maybe talk of also in the near future moving it to the school. Because I've been working at the school a lot lately with the animal stuff, and that has been brought up.
Well, it's always been downtown, that's the whole, we have this whole downtown Silverado image.
No negative, it's just an
Yeah.
idea.
It's,
I understand. I understand.
Okay, next item, Tom.
Yes. Okay, I am going to pass to the board this proposal. What I have done is, you've heard Lindy's presentation, and in keeping with her outline, what she said she was gonna do, she's right on target. She cleaned up the place, painted, fixed up things, and we're at the point now where she's talking about marketing, and that's kind of what I do. There's a couple of things that I put together a 3-phase marketing program for the Silverado Children's Center. And I'll just read this. The premise is the efforts that were done to generate sustainable revenue over the past few years have had little success. We've been subsidizing the Children's Center every month to keep it going. The SEC has survived on donations, fundraisers, as tuition has not been sufficient to cover operating costs. Promotional events have been conducted to attract students in the hopes of increasing enrollment and income, and this hasn't worked well. There are a few people coming in now and then, and I know when Amy was here, it was like, gee, if we just get one more student, we'd be okay, and it's been going on for some time. Every month, the SMRPD has to subsidize the Children's Center expenses with no success in self-sufficiency. While these efforts have been made to clean up and renovate the location here, there is no indication that any efforts or there's any increase in enrollment. So here's what I'm proposing. I know that sounds negative, but we have to, in order to know where we're going, we got to know where we've been and where we're at. So I've come up with a 3-part program. The first is financial sustainability. The staff of the Children's Center needs to do an analysis of the current and projected costs to run the school. So I've heard talk about, well, the teachers haven't had a raise in a while, we'd like to do this, we'd like to do that. Someone's got to sit down, I'm not a bookkeeper, but someone's got to sit down and look at what the current costs are, what the history of the costs are, and what projected costs are going to occur in the future. So you say, okay, for the next 12 months, we're going to need X amount of dollars. So that's the first step, which is actually done with a committee or directors, and I'm not involved in that aspect of it. But someone's got to figure out what it's going to cost to run the school. The second is a market potential study. Now, what we have to look at is, I would say, the bulk of the children that enroll in this school come from this local area. Now, I've heard that, oh, we've got somebody from Mission Viejo that's interested, or maybe somebody from Orange. but that's not our primary market. Our primary market is the canyons. So what I'm proposing is that we do an independent study. This would be a direct mail study that would go out to the residents of the community. According to the post office, there's about 930 mailing addresses, which include post office boxes and street addresses. This study would ask questions basically, and it would be a promotional item. It would say, are you familiar with the school? Have your children attended the school? Do you know anybody? And it would go on to basically ask questions, what would you like to see this facility do in the community? So it's a combination of asking questions to find out who's out there and what the potential is of enrollment. Now, according to the 2010 census, children, now this is 2010, so we're 3 years later, children under 5 in our zip code, the 92676, there's 61 children under 5 years old in this entire community. Children 5 to 9, there's 84. So assuming that this is our, let's say, our core of market, now we can get other people, and if somebody's driving by and commuting to Orange or going to Corona, and they happen to drive by and they see our sign and they want to drop off their kid, that's great. That's frosting on the cake. But we have to look at what the actual potential is for growing from our area. Now, once this marketing study is done, now this would be an independent marketing study that would be funded by the district. I have done some research into marketing research companies. I'm not going to do this. This has got to be done by somebody else. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of people out there that either want to do it or are, going to give us a good deal. I did find one individual, or actually a company, Carson Marketing in Santa Ana, who has agreed to do this study for us. Now, here's the deal. Once well, basically what the study is we mail out a questionnaire, and there's a return envelope with a stamp. They mail it back. It's compiled. We ask a bunch of questions, and we get a tabulation of the pulse beat from the community. From that, we can then come up with a marketing proposal. We can say, gee, people would like to have this program or this facility, or we have X amount of people that are interested in this. But beyond that, this study would also expose all of these people to the fact that we have an active community children's center here. Because up to this point, I would say maybe new people in the area, maybe people that have been there for a while, they drive by here. You can't see the building, you see the sign. We did try to put up a nice sign out there to attract people. I don't know if that's attracted anybody. But my point is, what we need to do is find out where we're at, what our market potential is, and what we can do to bring people in here. And in order to bring students and get people to pay attention to us. So it's a 3-part program. The first part of the program, I figure would be done by the staff. It'd be within 4 weeks. We should be able to do a financial analysis of costs and projections. The second part, which is a market potential study, which would take about 4 to 8 weeks, allowing mailing, returns, tabulation, and presentation by Carson Marketing. And then the third part would be, after we know this, we would then determine how we're going to market the company, or I mean the school or the facility. So this is my census. So
how much is it going to cost, Tom?
Yes, sir.
How much is that going to cost us?
Okay, the budget I have from from Carson Marketing is $4,700. Now, about
900 letters?
Pardon?
For 900 letters?
Yeah. About 1,200 of that, or 1,200 to 1,400 of that is cost. Because stamps are going to be 50 cents. So you got a buck going either way. 50
Where are they
cents
gonna
out.
go?
Pardon?
Where are they gonna go?
Where are they going to go? They're going to be mailed.
Mail it, everybody's mail.
To where?
I have a question. I have a question for the board. How much are we? How are we doing on the children's center now?
Well,
How much are we subsidizing? I mean, are we rearranging chairs on a sinking ship to do this? Is there a light at the end of the tunnel,
Well,
or is there not?
Tim, that's exactly why this study needs to be done.
Yeah, but I understand, Tom, but
Maybe
if
I
we're,
can
if we're
address
losing
that.
thousands of dollars a month now,
Yes.
we're gonna throw $4,700 at it
To see
to
if
realize
it's gonna
that
work.
we're gonna lose more money later on,
Well, or you keep doing what you're doing.
or you pull the plug.
You keep throwing $1,500 every month at it, hoping somebody shows
But,
up.
how we,
So wait, Linda can address it.
Okay.
Yeah, I can address it. I had a meeting with Lindy and with Deborah Johnson, and Deborah did a pretty in-depth feasibility analysis. And the Children's Center is not self-supporting right now. I do have the report, and I'm going to hold on submitting the report to the board because Lindy came up with some new numbers that I want to look at that will make the Children's Center more self-supporting. So before I submit Deborah's report to the board, which will probably be next month, I would like to review Lindy's numbers. Because it could be close. One of the things that came to light is that with this property comes the requirement to have a children's center here. And Deborah did make some recommendations to maybe go to the county to ask them for a different use on the property or a combination use, maybe with a children's center and a senior center, which is more in line with our demographics, or a teen center, something along those lines. But there's still a lot to review, and I haven't been through it all, so I'd like to go through it before I submit it to the board and have it presented.
And we're not voting on the $4,700 tonight. We're only gonna vote to adopt the plan, and if after the first phase, the numbers that she presented, then we'll vote on the.
you're gonna vote on the plan for, what was that,
this
Harvey?
plan, which is.
This is
Well, but you're
This is-
voting
it's
on a plan to spend some money, whether it's $4,700.
not right now.
No.
No, just the first part of it to do the
Just the first
feasibility,
part.
Yeah.
which doesn't cost anything.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Calling people with their hands raised.
Joanne was first.
Sorry.
Joanne.
I have a maybe a stupid question, maybe not, but does Portola Hills Elementary have anything like this going? Because it's a great tap. I mean, if they don't have anything like that going and we are here, do they have anything like that going?
I don't know.
Maybe we should look into that.
Linda.
I'm a little concerned about whether or not there's been a scope of work written and a more formal request for bids or proposals. I don't think you can just do phone calling for a project like this. I
Well,
think
we
you
would
need-
have an RFP for that.
Yeah,
Well,
and also, there is a group at Cal State Fullerton that does social science research. It's called the Social Science Research Center. And they do mostly phone calling rather than emailing, and you might find phone calling more effective. I don't know, but you might want to look into that.
well, the way this study is scheduled to be done is, there are so many post office boxes. I'm gonna take a wild guess, I'm gonna say 500 and some post office boxes, and there's like 400 and some what we call rural addresses, which are, Skyline lines and so forth. The post office would mail to those people in our district, in 92676, if it were addressed box holder and it would go through to them. The response would be then to have the survey, and at the bottom of the survey, this is the promotional part. If you're interested in knowing more about the Children's Center or something, you either can fill out your name and contact, or you can look up the website or something. In other words, it's not just find out what's going on, it's also kind of an introduction promotion to let people know that we're actively doing something here. And my point is, that with the numbers that we have as far as potential students in the area, we need to look hard at who's gonna come by here and participate.
Well, wouldn't that be where Portola Hills might come in? I mean,
What's
that?
that?
Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be where
We
Portola
got-
Hills
yeah, we
might
got
come
that
in?
comment.
Because that's huge.
Yeah, we got that, thanks.
In the past, the community has used the Sentry to put flyers out like Growit does. That's been a pretty inexpensive way to get things out to the community. And
Does
I'm
that go
thinking,
over there?
if you wanna advertise a community center, if we could make up some nice flyer for the children's center
You're on
and
phase,
put it in the
you're on phase
Growit.
3.
You're on phase 3.
I
Once we
understand
know-
that, but what I'm saying, right now, there's a need to get kids into school. That would be getting the word out to all those people that may not even know this place exists. While we're taking the 4, 6, 8 weeks, that's a very inexpensive way to get some marketing out to this zip code.
Okay, but the whole premise of this study is to find out what this school is
I
going to look like.
understand that. I
You can't
understand
just
that.
say, come on down and we'll make it what you want. We've done this in the past. We've had fundraisers, we've had
I'm not saying a
flyers.
fundraiser.
Well, I'm
I'm
just saying,
saying a way that, you said part of that was to let everybody know the school's here and what's available. We could do that very inexpensively, why we're taking the 4 to 6 and 12 weeks to do something for
well,
them.
we could do a flyer and tell people to come by and stop by the school. The point of the marketing study is to find out what the people want
I
here.
understand that.
And then go back to those people and say, you asked for it, it's now a nature center, it's also a daycare center, it's all, whatever the configuration comes out of this survey. And this is marketing, this is what I do, and in order to find out what you need to do, you have to find out what the market's receptive
I
to.
understand.
Right? I mean, it isn't the idea not to wait to get a marketing survey, isn't it the idea to get out and say, hey, we have a children's center here, come on down. Regardless of what it might be in the future.
We've been doing that, Joanne, this is an ongoing thing, we've been telling people to come on down for 5 years,
Have we,
and we've got them.
have we tapped into the other areas that
You
are
know,
around here or
everybody's,
not?
still- you know, this is the staff of SMRPD, guys.
Yeah, we have, we have.
So help us out. Don't just offer suggestions, offer to help.
Yeah,
We'll take it.
Yeah, going back to phase 2.
I'll go put a flyer at Portola Hills, I don't care.
Kevin,
I'll roll in
Give me
preschool.
one. I'll put it out there.
Kevin,
going back to phase 2, why use snail mail when I noticed that there's people with huge amounts of email blast to everybody in the area, and create yourself a fillable type-in PDF file that you can blast out to everybody for free instead of 50 cents out, 50 cents in, and and then tell them to send it to their neighbors, forward it to somebody who might not have it, and you can do it internally and save yourself $4,700.
Well, I can answer that. Okay, when you do a multiple choice survey and you have a portion on there where people respond, if they get it direct in the mail, they've got something to look over, check it over, and we have a hard copy document to use as a follow-up or to do a
You can print out the
tabulation.
form after it's filled
Add
out, you
it
can
to
print it
the
out.
email.
There's your hard copy if you want to
Who's
chop
gonna
down the
create
tree.
the questions?
Hmm?
Who's gonna create the questions?
The
If we don't go
SMRPD
to-
board.
If we don't go to that.
No, the SMRPD board isn't marketing.
No,
We could all throw it up, it's like, let's all be cooks and go in the kitchen and all cook something up and we'll all love it. It's not gonna work that way. If you want a professional marketing study done to determine what goes on, we hired a professional
Oh,
marketing.
I got an idea
Wait,
who
I'm
makes
still
the questions.
talking.
Wait,
I'm still talking.
no, I still have the floor.
We hired a
You
professional.
go to the Cal State
director.
Fullerton and have them figure out the
Okay,
questions.
we hired
free.
a professional director to come in and organize this school. We didn't ask everybody in the community to come down and say, okay, what can we do with the school? Let's all volunteer. We have a professional here that's working to develop this school based on her experience. What I'm saying is that we need a professional to determine what the future of this school is going to be. We don't know that, and we could all ask questions. Well, I'm gonna email this guy, and whoever comes up with their own little idea is gonna be the way it's gonna be.
Did anything ever come of what she did?
Pardon?
Did anything ever come of what happened?
Oh, here, see
This
it.
is what
Who's looking at it, Joanne?
This is part of
Lindsay
our
is
story.
the professional.
The group at Fullerton How long would it take to find out if they would take us on and do this?
They don't do it for free.
Yeah,
They
as a
stay
matter
home
of
and
fact, I
they're
just got
babysat by
an
their
email
older
from them.
parents.
They are looking for
Their sessions.
candidate companies, and it is about $3,500.
Unemployment's as
And
high
they
as
can
ever.
come up with a full business plan and write a presentation.
Well, that's probably something, if it's a business plan, it's probably something different. But the Social Science Research Center contracts with government entities and all, to do all kinds of surveys. And what they are good at is coming up with scientifically sound questions so that you can have reliable, statistically significant answers that you can trust. That when you get something that says, you know, a statistically significant number of people want a nature center, you can rely on that. They aren't gonna then turn around and develop a marketing plan for you. What they will do is do a survey. There may be some business classes that they've got a great, they have a fantastic business school, and they have some classes where some students would want to take something on. I think that they could come up with some competitive proposal if you ask them.
Well, we have,
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah,
I think we ought to ask other
I just-
companies to do
I
it.
think we should put out some kind of an
Yeah.
RFP, have an
Yes.
RFP
I
process.
agree.
And one of the
Or
reasons I
second
say to
stage.
try those angles first before you throw $4,700 out to a research
We're not
firm,
voting
is you
on
can't
it.
force a down economy to fill up any school. I mean, lots of people are being handled by their older sisters or brothers.
We're gonna have that conversation in another meeting.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we are in phase one right now. And Linda, I think between you and Lindy and Deborah, we're gonna be done with phase one, and maybe we should have a meeting in a week or two as soon as you guys are done. And then we can go into this, and in the meantime, we need somebody to maybe talk to these guys to see about who could do phase two. You know, if we wanna look at somebody other than the Carson Marketing Group people.
And if anybody has any other suggestions, email us so we can
Well, I,
contact.
you should probably do an RFP.
Yep.
How long is stuff like that gonna take?
Put a time limit on it.
However long you want to take to write it.
I mean,
We
are you
actually
talking-
started now, we have 4 weeks.
Are you talking, it's gonna take days to do that, or weeks to do that?
I don't, it depends
Someone
on
out,
whoever
put
you
a
get to
two-week
write
time
it.
limit on it.
well, we'd have to get a detailed outline of what any service is going to provide, both in timing and what the comprehensiveness of their study and their methodology, how they're gonna do it. I've talked to George Carson, Carson Marketing, and he's come by, he's seen the facility, and he has a good feel for what we're trying to do. And like I said, I've talked to some other research companies, and most of them, the commercial ones, they don't even wanna talk to us. We're not big enough for them, and they charge too much money. This was.
Debbie Johnson could probably write an RFP. It doesn't seem, I don't think it needs to be very complicated. I'm willing to help also, writing an RFP. I've done those in the past. I can sit down with Tom and we can figure out what we need to say. But ask
Let's send this
Debbie
off to a
first.
committee of,
Yeah, that's when we get to phase 2, but now's a good time to start for that.
Yes.
start with what? Getting to phase two.
Yeah, getting to
Right.
phase 2.
Well,
So we don't wanna just do it serially, just do things in parallel.
So Tom, we
Well, I'd
kinda
like to-
need to get a couple more proposals, it sounds like.
Well, I understand that, I understand that. But again, I would, at this point, I think we've discussed this. I would like to make a motion that we accept the first phase of the marketing plan to do a financial sustainability study to be done within 4 weeks.
We're doing that, it'll be done within a week or two.
But he's
Okay.
We're already
making
in
a
the middle of
motion.
We don't have to
He's
do a
making a
motion.
motion.
That's already been done.
I second it.
But we're already doing that, we don't need a
I
motion.
know, but do we need a
I think
motion
we
to
should
accept it?
formalize it. I think it's a vehicle that we need to do. Go through.
Okay. So I made the motion, it was seconded by Linda.
And then you second it.
Call for a vote, Mr. President.
Is there any discussion?
It should be so loud.
Lisa?
I guess I'm confused why we're doing a feasibility study when the market has shown for the past however many years the school's been in the hole, that there's not a market for the school.
I can answer the question.
Well, I mean,
I can
No,
answer,
she's-
I
she's
can answer
gonna
I
that
know,
answer
but
the
let me just
question.
finish what I was gonna say, is because 65,000 has been put in, we're putting in more money now for something, the school looks great. When you look at the census numbers, which I'm glad you provided those census numbers, just because we have 61 kids that are under age 5 doesn't mean that they're all gonna come here. The numbers are small, when you look at the amount of kids we can pull from. We could pull from, Tribuco, Coto de Caza, Robinson Ranch, Portola, but I think if they would have come, they would have come. It's not for lack of trying, it's not for lack of fundraising and getting the information out. We're gonna continue to throw money at this place when the kids aren't coming.
So we don't really know if it's for lack of trying, because we don't know that in the past they ever marketed to the surrounding communities.
There used to be ads that we used to put out in like Parenting Magazine and stuff like that, and we haven't done that for years.
But let me
Because
say-
we haven't
but I-
had them.
No, I remember, but I was in the board meetings when we talked about doing those ads, the advisory committee, and Deborah said that those ads never worked. That's why we didn't continue on with them. We never pulled kids from those ads, so.
Linda had a comment to answer our question.
Okay, well, there are a couple of things that I think happened during Deborah's feasibility analysis that she said were very positive. A couple of them were, since Lindy's been here, she's really gotten some of the tuitions set in regards to pricing and payment. Whereas before, there were problems with outstanding bills not being able to collect, and she's really made it very clear to the parents, and it has been able to collect some of those funds. So I think that's number one. She's also done an analysis of the fees, and she feels that we're really underpriced in the market for what we offer. And so she's making some proposals related to increasing the tuition slightly, still being maybe a little under market, but increasing the tuition, which will help. The other thing that she's looking at is staffing ratios. And she's made some proposals that Deborah said, looked really good, and Deborah was really pleased that over the last several years, while Deborah was looking at them, she made suggestions to do these things, and Lindy had finally done them, and it could look like the numbers are gonna be more in line and look at least break even for the Children's Center, even with the current census. So that's what we're looking at over the next week or two.
I'm sorry, what's your name?
Mike,
Mike, thank you.
it seems like it would really make sense then to do exactly, send out some flyers
It does.
and maybe emails, see what sticks. Then, if you hear no input, that's not very good. And then maybe go to Plan B, which would be doing a study. But
And we've gotten to the point now where, and the reason Lindy wanted us to come this month and not last month is the center's just gotten to the point now where we want people to come in and see it. Because it didn't look so hot in the past, and we wouldn't be wanting, going out and asking everybody to come and see it. So we're right where you're saying, and I think what Debbie brought up was that maybe we ought to be doing some kind of little marketing immediately to see what we get, and then go into phase 2.
we're in, I mean, it's such a small, all the areas are so small that you're gonna get some kind of input. It isn't like you're trying to do a survey on the city of Orange.
Yeah. Before you go, I was actually gonna talk to everybody about, there's 5 of us and there's a few more people interested in the room. We should go door to door and grab those little kids and bring them in.
And if they don't, call child services on them.
Call child I'm not being flippant about that. Maybe it wouldn't be bad, because that would be like a really more direct way for us to go, hey, we got a cool place here, you gotta come and see it, because they
And
might
you've
not
got
know.
really no more liability, nothing invested.
Right.
I think what's important, and I think Lisa brought this up, that, you
It's
know,
to go on to
we're
the next
dealing
item.
with a small market, if you will. I mean, we got X amount of people we can draw from, there are fringe areas we can draw from that. But it would be interesting to find out how many people have come to the children's center with their children or by themselves and looked at it and says, oh, this place is not nice enough, I don't wanna bring my kid here. Now, we don't know that at this point. But my point is,
Come back, yeah.
right, now that we have a nice place, but we might have the nicest abandoned children's center in Orange County, if nobody comes here. You know, it's like rearranging the furniture on the deck of the Titanic. You go, but it's nice, yeah, but it's going down. So my point is, the survey, and again, I keep talking about this survey, because it's not just a question of what would you do? Some of the questions would be, how far would you commute to take your child to a daycare center?
Write that down.
You know, so my point is, once you establish what the market is receptive to, and also what the market would like to see this children's center at, then you can advertise it. So if you can just say, come on down, we painted the walls, we wanna show you this place is really nice. And you go, okay, what do you guys do? Well, we're doing a bunch of stuff, but what we really should do is tailor-make this business, this operation, to fit the community's needs. We haven't done that, and that has to be done with a survey.
You're right, and actually Deborah did recommend doing a survey, and while we're doing the survey, we not only need to look at the children's center and the survey issues, but we also need to look at alternative uses
Yes,
for this area.
exactly, that's all part of the survey.
And I think that what you're all getting at is, are we throwing good money after bad? So I think that if we don't look at this in a vacuum as just looking at a survey related to the children's center for children, we can also look at it, what are the other uses that the community needs, and really get all the answers we need to move forward, because I think we all agree we want this property, right? For something,
Let's go on.
whether it be the children's center or not.
You and I, as taxpayers, we own these buildings.
Yeah.
And that playground structure and all of that, we own it.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor, we're gonna finalize that, we're gonna send the rest back to a committee, and I need people to come up and see me to volunteer to work on that. And this is going on too far, so the rest of this discussion needs to go off to our committee.
I have one other
It
addition
better be
to,
really short, please.
I have one other addition to make. We're gonna use the lot, the portion of the grass area closest to the ATT building for evacuation for animals.
Maybe.
So there's gonna be a 60-foot round pen going in there and
Yeah.
5 10x10 stalls.
Out there?
Maybe.
Well,
Yes,
you
no,
didn't
not
ask-
maybe,
No.
they're going in.
You're talking
No.
about over on the property
No,
over here.
this is a discussion that's been happening between
Yeah, they're going in.
emergency, the Canyon Watch folks
And my committee,
and,
the emergency preparedness committee, they're
right,
going in.
and I'm not sure that we're there yet.
It would be really
There's a-
nice for you guys
we
to
are
have
there.
said anything to the rest of us about how you're using it, considering it's the main entrance to our zone, and we've already got other plans for that area.
You can't, it's just you don't own it.
We use it, and we utilize it, and we have plans to
We lease
utilize
it.
it.
Okay, well, the
It's part of
field,
our
the
lease.
field,
It
the
is part of
bottom,
our
the
lease.
bottom corner of the field,
No, it's
that's
not.
what it's gonna be used.
It's on our lease agreement.
It's not on the driveway that they're
It's on
talking
the
about.
field, adjacent to the driveway.
You talk about the old school or this school?
Yes.
This school, not this children's center, the Silverado.
Yeah, they're talking about the
site.
Silverado property, not the
Right.
children's
It's
center
different.
property.
Just letting you know, it's going in.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
Okay,
Is
there's
there,
confusion on that.
Yeah, that's,
we're
that's,
gonna have a vote
We got a
for,
motion, so we need a vote.
we need a vote. All in favor of Tom's proposal to finalize the financial stability study?
Right.
Phase one.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, Shay.
Okay, we had our safety, facilities, and maintenance meeting. And Steve and I went over the 3 facilities. And one thing really got our attention, and, well, 2 things, and they're on D and E on the agenda. The country fair stage, music in the park stage / every music stage for events that we have at the community center is injured. it's old. It comes from Darla's Dance Academy. If any of you were around back then, she had a dance academy and built these 2 stages that block up together. They're stored,
It's the short version.
okay, they're stored at the church. Anyway,
The short version.
they belong to the community. That one is parked now at SMRPD, and it's gonna stay there as a removable stage, but it's gonna be there for events. And it's falling apart, it needs repair for safety, and it's urgent. People sit on there and stuff, and it's really important. Unfortunately, after the country fair, the canopy was still on it, the winds came, ripped the thing off, moved the thing, and it needs some serious repair if Music in the Parks is going to be able to use it, and we need it for safety anyway. So I put it on the agenda to authorize Steve Reichert, our caretaker, to put a little bit of elbow grease into it and get it ready for the Music in the Park.
I second.
Steve and I looked at it today, and there's the base of the thing is metal, so there's some really easy ways to hook up some receivers so we can have a canopy that can be removable, and we don't think it'll actually be as expensive as Shay was maybe thinking it was.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what his allowance for repairs was for something like that, so I thought it would be safe to bring it before the board.
Steve, did you have any kind of dollar amount?
You know, it's hard to say, because I'm gonna have to put welding and stuff down. I guarantee it'll be lower than what the allowed is, so.
It's the allowed.
I don't, I think, what is the allowed now, 5?
I think it's $500 or something.
No, it's not $500.
For just using it without a board approval.
No,
It was $500 for you could go out and do some repairs.
That was for the Home Depot.
Right, and to go out and do things without approval, but to have approval, you have to get approval.
I think it's a lot more than that, but I think it was like,
I think it was like, you were coming like, hey, I need $300, and we're like, well, why don't you just have $500 that you can go fix little things without
So-
board
So
approval?
if we don't have a number, can we put it off and maybe do that at the same time we have the committee meeting talking about the school stuff, which might be in a week or two?
I have a question first.
Am I the only one that doesn't know if those summer concerts are SMRPD events or not?
Not, are they?
Yeah, they are.
They
They
are.
always have been.
They were
I'm not the only
sanctioned
one.
years ago by
It says
the
right on the
SMRPD.
flyer.
It's on the minutes if you read the minutes. They gave reports to
But
the SMRPD.
I've been told that it is, that they are, and that they're not. So we probably ought to have a determination and an agreement among Zach and.
We were
Tom,
under the impression
Kevin,
it was
and
under
everybody
the
that-
umbrella of the SMRPD insurance policy.
Right.
But it's not our event.
That, there.
so it is on,
It
We
was-
were
it was
sponsoring.
sanctioned for
on the
insurance
property.
years ago.
And we were sponsoring it as SMRPD because Zach came and said, hey, you guys, can we do this? And we said, yeah, that'll come under our umbrella and it'll be a SMRPD sponsored event and we'll have the music in the parks.
So
And then he was
is-
running it.
So is it a Ways and Means project?
A what?
A Ways and Means project?
I'm not sure what that means, so.
Do we make money on this, or do you just have a liability for it?
I think we just made a liability for it.
It had to cost a
That
penny.
sounds good.
Oh,
Well, and if it's an SMRPD.
It doesn't cost us
we can
anything.
have food there, but
We don't
can't
hire the
have
bands.
candies.
I mean, we could put them on and hire bands for $1,000 a piece, but we're able to have someone that
Yes,
can
it
go
is.
out and get all this stuff for free. I mean, we're saving money.
Christmas in the canyons is a
No, I know, but.
We're not saving any
so
money.
if we can't
Okay,
have food
well, it's
at
not costing us
one
anything either.
SMRPD
Just a
sponsored
second,
event.
hold on. So,
Hasn't cost
so
us anything.
essentially, what I'm getting, it's an SMRPD sponsored event, but really the basic question is the thing is on our property, are we gonna maintain it or are we gonna throw it away? So if we're gonna maintain it, we need to do some maintenance. It needs to have a rail around it so people don't fall off. Shane and I talked, I recommended it be taken completely off the asphalt so it doesn't impact anybody playing sports on the asphalt. And effectively, the trailer is ours.
It's the
Can
community.
we get a
It's the
budget
communities.
for it? Can we get a budget for it and then
Yeah,
move this to
Steve,
the next?
Steve, I think we need a
meeting.
budget before we can
Yeah.
approve it.
Well, I have to ask a question. So is the concert in the park is sponsored by the, do we own it? Are they, are you guys doing it?
Our insurance can't, doesn't, it covers it only if it's our event.
Okay,
Well,
So,
Christmas in
do
the
we-
Canyon's not your event, you
Yes,
sponsor
it
it.
is. No, it's our event.
It's our
We
event.
own the whole thing.
so is the summer music, is that our event?
Good question.
It was started from this board, Brett got involved and Zach came forward and the two of them worked that out together and then Brett let it go and it ran, that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to start stuff and then let it go to the
Yes or no,
community.
Shay?
What?
Is it our event or is it not?
It's our sanctioned event.
We sponsor it, we cover it with our insurance.
And then we have no financial.
And then our volunteers, our community runs it. Is that a problem? I mean, I don't
Matters
know.
It's
for
never
insurance
cost a penny to anybody here.
We can't
So-
assert that
Those
it's
are those-
easier.
they've
So
never
then who
really
makes the
been-
profit?
No, never a penny.
And it's successful. I mean, we get hundreds of
So we
people that
don't-
come to it.
Is there a P&L on that event too, like there is on the Christmas in the Canyon?
And this country fair,
Country Fair gives us one, right?
Mhm.
Christmas in the Canyon gives us one, correct?
so the fair
So the
doesn't-
summer
Yeah,
parks, if it's our sponsored event,
Country fair is not our
Country
event.
Fair isn't sponsored, it's just, it's
It's a nice
supported, but we get our own insurance.
right,
So we're using the facility for the
Country
community.
fair's separate.
Good,
Yeah,
so.
yeah.
They don't charge us, that's the only thing with the fair. With the concerts in the parks, it's sponsored for insurance, and the same with the Modjeska nights. That's covered under us too, even though a whole different.
And we don't get
group
a
runs it.
profit and loss from that. It's just the
Yeah.
community putting a party together
Our
for
part,
the
we cover
community.
it with insurance.
I think we need to resolve this and we're not gonna do it
Yeah,
tonight.
it needs to be a policy,
Okay, so-
go to the policy committee for a policy.
Yeah, it's
Let's
not written
table
on
this so
anything,
we
it's in
can
old
move on.
minutes.
Yeah. Let's present
But
it.
it's a
Lisa,
community
question.
event, which is the whole point of Parks and Recreation is to have
Exactly.
recreation.
Right.
So my
Right.
understanding of it was, people come to us and they say, can we use your space, and we're doing this, and we're not charging hardly anything, and can we have it without paying the rent for the facility? And we said yes to the music guys, and we also sponsored them, and that got them insured, which if it's gonna be on our facility.
Because they don't charge to come,
Right.
yeah.
No,
So the people that
we
charge,
need to
like
look
the
into it.
yoga
I'm not
people,
sure
they have to
that our
pay.
insurance covers
Okay.
it.
It does cover it.
That makes
We found that out years ago before we let them have it.
Send the minutes if you read them.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's,
so my bigger concern is, Shay says it's a community trailer, I don't wanna put our money into it if it's not really staying somehow.
I know, the country fair puts money into it almost every year. Every year we rebuild the wood on the top or every other year and all of
Yeah,
that.
but we're a
And then we
public
give all
agency.
that money away, and then we only keep like $500 in the bank to start up the fair for the next year. So we can't come in now that it's dilapidated and fix it up for music in the parks, which isn't our event, and dump our country fair money into it, so I
But
just.
we can't put money into it because it's an abuse of public funds. It's not our money.
Well,
It's the
it
public
depends,
money.
it depends
We
on how
can't
much,
Is it
spend it on
staying?
private property.
it depends on how much that thing belongs to us.
Right.
So we need to get some community consensus on how much is that thing ours, and then we can spend money on it. And
okay, we'll give it to you. It's yours.
It needs money spent on it.
Done.
It's a big area, you're right,
Still
it's
defer
great.
this to a
It's
policy.
We got
great
another
area.
one.
I got another one too. You want two of them?
Ownership of the stage is a gray area.
Yeah.
So, but you see, we have to resolve that before we can get.
We have to resolve that.
Yeah.
I understand that totally.
Recreation or the policy committee.
And in the meantime, we have to have caution tape around it because
In the meantime, it is an attractive nuisance and is
Yeah.
becoming worse
Ugly.
condition.
It's ugly,
And
yeah.
I'm wondering about its, if you go back to building codes, anything more than 3 feet high is supposed to have railings for, you know.
That's what we're talking about, is the railing.
The railings and
Yeah.
things, and then it becomes a whole, almost a building, is it gonna need a permit, you know, it gets really.
It's
portable.
It's portable.
Portable, okay.
It's
But
portable, it
right
has
now,
wheels.
it is an attractive nuisance, it's another
It's a
toy
liability.
to play on it, you know, something to play on, or,
Yeah.
and somebody could get hurt on it.
Yeah.
The day I saw the kids go across it on their skateboards and jump and try and touch the basketball hoop, I just about croaked. So, yeah, so we are addressing the fact that it may be a public.
That's cool.
So now, here we're working on it, you guys are gonna work on it on your policy committee.
I mean, one solution may be that we could rent it. If it's,
Yeah, move it during the meeting, it's
Well,
quarter to 9.
you
we'll go with that.
really need to
We
take a
just need
look
to sign
at,
it over,
distance
so-
yourself from that platform, because somebody takes a header off it,
Absolutely.
we're liable for it, and if we own it, I hate to bring this up, because Judy Bruno's not here, you need to put an elevator on the side.
Or we
I'm
can
not
just,
kidding you.
Just say the lift.
Why just say that? She
I'm
heard
not kidding you.
it. Tim, she heard that.
I'm not kidding
So-
you.
Oh my God.
anyhow,
I'm in the business, I
we can
know.
just make it part of the skateboard park and make it a liability under the skateboard park and and they can go off it all day long. As long as they're wearing their helmet.
I'm serious.
Well, I'm sure it is too.
Okay, next.
It's a skate ramp.
Oh, okay, the other item,
I'm dead serious, Greg.
the other item in Silverado Park
But then we should cut down the trees too. They could climb up there and fall off.
non-native tree. There's a non-native tree, gives us lovely shade in the parking lot, everybody loves to park there. But unfortunately, that tree has grown into our fence and it's eating our fence, swallowed our fence, pushing our fence no longer, the gate no longer shuts. And the roots of these non-native trees are lifting up our blacktop terribly, and there's huge cracks, which is a liability for safety. And so,
Especially for those in wheelchairs.
we got,
Sorry, couldn't resist.
we looked at it today with a tree trimmer to see about what it would take to solve that problem.
Are you talking about the Chinese elm?
The elm with the ash. There's an ash and an elm next to each other, and they're both lifting up significantly
Oh, right,
the
next to the
blacktop.
blacktop?
And I believe it's either the ash, I think it's the ash that's eating the fence. So it's an issue, and according to the tree company, they have to, they can't just take down, the fence has to be removed temporarily. They have to grind out the stump. And then when we repave the blacktop, we can get the roof.
What's the estimate?
$900. Is there a motion to let the tree guy take it out?
What's it gonna be replaced for?
Well,
That comes
that
later.
was awfully expensive, so we're going
Yeah.
to take it out and quit the damage.
Yeah, we might do our own
We might have to plan our own.
replanting. It's expensive. Yeah.
I'll make
Is
a
there a
motion.
Thank you. Is there a second motion?
I'm abstaining from this because all of my friends and Nick's brother-in-laws trim trees.
Shade's recused herself from the vote, all in favor?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no.
Anyone else with aye?
And Shade, make sure you note that Shade recused herself from voting.
Recused?
Yeah, RECUSE.
And it's not because I'm a tree hugger.
Even though you are.
I hate doing it. It totally sucks. But
Okay, thank
All
you.
trees fall.
that was one of the concerns, is that if we grind out the root to save the blacktop, the tree will fall on somebody or a car. And,
It wasn't salvageable.
yeah.
Okay, next item.
That's updated.
What's wrong with it?
There have been some requests for SMRPD to provide either news or a recap of what the SMRPD is doing, as well as, I think Ron mentioned, a report after our meetings, so that we get some information out to the public, and we thought that it would be a good idea. So I just thought I would propose a newsletter put out by the SMRPD, since there isn't one in our community right now.
Talking about a printed version like ACL has.
Are they doing it?
Well, they were, I'm not sure if
Right,
they are
they're not
anymore,
doing it
but
anymore. Yes,
something like that.
yes, or even on the internet.
I personally would prefer that you do a schedule of recreational activities.
Well,
That's
could be part of
included,
it.
and I think that we're doing that with
The recreation brochure itself, like Lisa probably will say, it fills up all by itself.
You just
So-
tack everything else onto it.
yeah, that's included. That
So
would be
much,
something
she
that's
packed so
included.
much in that flyer that went out. And it was awesome, so people want that again.
Come on. Do you wanna work up some ideas? I know you were gonna ask Tom about his input in it, or figure out who
And
else.
Shay has
might-
some ideas, so we'll work together.
We're gonna have a recreation meeting next week.
Okay, I will give my input. And Lisa knows this because she did it, and I did the first one. It's a three-phase program, or a three-phase job. The first is gathering the information and making sure that everything is accurate. That's a tremendous job. I mean, you have to make a lot of calls, you have to confer to, you know, I mean, that's half the job.
So you're really looking
That
for
is the
someone to
job.
volunteer that's in the room that would want to help do that?
Well, no, I mean, well, yeah, I could say that. Or you could say that.
Volunteers.
So
Yeah.
let me explain in 3 phases. Okay, gather the information and confirm that everything is accurate and correct, and it has to be presented if I'm going to do the graphics, which I'm not sure I am, because that's another big job. It has to be accurate, it has to be in, say, a Word file, spelling corrected, everything's gotta be, I can't wing it and start correcting stuff as I go. That's one thing. The layout design, that's the second phase of it, to put it in some order and get it in there. Now, as Lisa knows, because she did it, she crammed a lot of stuff into a little space. And sometimes people want to add things and there just isn't room to do it. So there has to be some, you know, some consideration from, let's say, I as the designer, would have to say, I'm gonna have to edit some of this out. So I'm gonna have to have some basic information, maybe some optional. The third portion of this is the proofing and the approval. And somebody's gotta go through it and make sure that what we have is correct and current. So there's actually, let's say, 3 people involved, if you will, or maybe the first person is also the third person. But my point is, it's not just one person puts it all together and makes it, and it's all done. It
Yeah.
has to
You
be.
need college, I used to be editor-in-chief of a professional journal, so I'm fairly familiar with
Okay,
writing
well-
and those kind of things.
Well,
and
the board
process.
did it before.
Well, Trish did
We
it
have
before.
people- Mark Levy did it before Trish.
Yeah.
Trish did it.
So if
And it is a lot of work.
anyone's interested in
Well, we have a
volunteering,
volunteer in
The
the
biggest
back of
part-
the room who has
the biggest part for
volunteered
the-
2 years to help us with that.
The biggest
We're
part of
taking
it's
on-
gathering the
we're
information
taking
and
on.
getting all the information.
Okay,
Yeah.
so,
So anybody wants to volunteer, let's get a list. Who's volunteering?
I will.
Kevin
Kevin,
volunteered.
It doesn't stress
We're
me
gonna
out
have
one
a
bit to put a
recreation
simple
meeting
flyer
on
together, that's just simple
Thank you,
stuff.
February 5th.
All right, so
There's no
everybody
phase,
else
it's
have a
just do it.
volunteer, we'll
No, I'm
be
not volunteer.
glad.
I just wanna make a comment, because it's not about just putting together information. If you wanna set yourself apart from what's been going on, you need to be proactive in finding people that are gonna teach classes. And, you know, listing hikes or brown baggers or what's happening every Monday or Wednesday, that's a piece of cake and that's easy. But if you wanna do yoga and Zumba and shooting and I mean, things that make the public come out and attend classes, that's where the majority of the work goes. Is finding the instructors, getting the contracts signed, making sure there's space available, and that's the front end heavy duty work.
We need to put out another request for new people that might be thinking about using our center to host some sort of event. So
Okay.
I hit up the existing instructors this week with new information and let them know that we're thinking about a new brochure. But I haven't sent out anything to the community asking if
Maybe that
anyone's
goes on
interested.
the back of the century flyer.
Well, it's just not even tapping into the community, because the community has limited resources as to who can teach you this or that. I mean, you gotta go outside and find other connections and ideas. I mean, it's a very proactive, time-consuming job.
Developing
And we'd
recreational,
love to have you on the committee.
developing recreational opportunities is a separate issue than getting
Yeah,
a
that's a whole
calendar.
other thing, yeah.
but we need them both to get
We
done.
need 'em
so-
both.
We have ongoing events.
Yeah, we do.
Cool, okay, well, that's referred to committee, okay, next item.
Fundraising.
What is this one?
Fundraising, I don't know what the rest of it means, but it's fundraising. One of the things that I talked about was fundraising when I was, prior to being appointed, and I think we need to revisit that. I know Ron has spoken to me about it a little bit in the past, a year or so ago, before I even entertained thinking about the board. And I think we just need to do a fundraiser for various things like the newsletter, and maybe do something for the school, the Silverado Children's Center. We're going to entertain funding that. So I think that, I've seen some fundraising done for the Children's Center, and I hope it continues through CLCF, but I think we need to look at fundraising for SMRPD too.
I think what we need to do is have a list of say, fundraising needs, if you will, or causes, and then say, okay, what do we have to do? Like you were generous enough to, when we did the Canyon League newsletter, you offered your place, and that was one package for one element. And I think we just have to look at the laundry list of what we wanna raise money for, and then what we have available to do that, what kind of events would bring in money for those things, that's what it would be, it's more of an organization.
Good idea.
Coming up with ideas for fundraising is just such a task.
A golf
And we have
tournament,
some in the
Silverado
works
against
that are
Modjeska.
annual now. I'm involved in, 5 that benefit the Children's Center currently, but as we can see, there's need for more.
So maybe what I would propose is maybe starting some kind of a committee, so if anybody's interested in fundraising, well,
No, but I think, like
I volunteer.
Tom said, what do we gotta have a need to raise the funds for?
well, I think we just came up with two different
Newsletter, Children's
issues.
Center.
Actually, I think this is probably a case where we might have another standing committee.
Fundraising committee.
Yeah, cause I mean,
Because
we've
it's
got,
not ad hoc, because it's not gonna go away, we always
It's
do
not.
this.
Yeah, it may not go away.
That is a good point.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
cool, what do we need to do to create a standing committee?
I think the president can just
Yeah, you can-
appoint one.
You can
Is it in Robert's
create,
rules?
but I
Oh,
think
no,
we
that's
have to, we have to vote on the standing committee.
Yeah, that's right.
What do you guys think?
President
Should we-
can create an ad hoc, but I think the
Yeah, it's ad hoc,
board
that's
needs to
right.
create a standing committee.
Shall we make a fundraising?
It won't hurt to
committee
do
as
it.
one of our standing committees?
I don't have a problem with that.
Is there a motion to do that?
Make a motion. Go ahead.
I make a motion to make a standing committee of the fundraising, for fundraising.
I second.
All in favor, any discussion?
Yeah, one thing you have to do with standing committees is notice the meetings and allow public
Exactly.
input.
Yeah, we know that.
And we'll include it in the agenda.
We know that, and we're trying to do that.
You're right along, it doesn't need, how does everybody vote on that? Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
No, look, she gets to call for the question, I don't do it anymore. My job not.
Your job's cut one.
It's got my cut in half. Okay, policy meeting update. What have you guys been up to? Sheila wants to tell us, you're not done, obviously, because
Oh.
you don't have a report. So
Oh.
you did something and you're working on it?
Oh, we have, well, it was a special meeting, not a committee meeting, so it's all of us, so, we had a meeting and, went over put 2 or 3 potential policy changes, updates, additions to the park board policy. And one of those is, correspondences going out.
We don't need any details.
Oh,
just
I'm sorry.
You're working on it.
Oh, we're working on it and we're continuing to work on it.
It's in draft stage.
Oh, okay, all right.
I would like to ask you guys to work up a policy on access to our attorney. So we have a way that says, you know, if Tom doesn't like something that we're doing, how does it get to the attorney? You know, so because we need to kind of control costs because the attorney is $200 an hour, but we should come up with something that says how do the board members get to do that.
There should be some criteria on those, when you can address the attorney, not just anybody calls them anytime.
So it's kind of been, I think, that the president was kind of the key holder for that, but, you know, what if I got really mad at everybody and said, no, I'm not letting you do that? So I think we should have some policy where the board can say, yes, okay, you have an issue, go for it. Or, and it could be just, it should be, Tom calls me up and I say, oh, okay, do it. But if I say no, then he should have the right to go to, the whole board and say, okay, I'm having an issue here and I think it's legitimate, and who will agree with me in that?
Maybe you should have a second board member, join in on the content. In other words, if you had 2 board members that agree that there's an issue to be discussed with the attorney, that would be a policy.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, work a policy up like that, and then, and we need to make sure that, I mean, part of it needs to be that you thought the question through, So one person can't just start asking random questions. We gotta have thought the question through, and this is gonna be and get our money's worth out of it.
And do homework. It's good to like research yourself on Google or whatever and try to get an answer for your question before going to her.
Yeah.
I try to do that,
Okay,
but I can't always.
while you're asking for that, policy, I'm gonna move J up to policies, to ask for a policy on how the board responds to, violation or accusations of violation of the Brown Act or ethical issues, and how we cure them and what our process is for following up. So we can just move that up to policy, ask for policy regarding that.
So you guys working on policy for that too?
Yes,
Okay.
so we're going to discuss that.
So we're gonna refer Jay to the policy committee.
Who's Jay?
No, no.
You guys are smart, but you're not that smart, I guess. Okay, item number I, which is before J, but we just put it in J.
Oh.
Sully Miller property potential, it turned out that our name came up at the City of Orange or the county thing about would we want to receive the property that's gonna get donated if something gets built. So, I put it on the agenda so we can think about it now or later, or just so you all
What is the
know.
property?
It's-
The Sully Miller mining operation on
San Diego County.
San Diego Canyon Road.
Tell him.
Just before Canada.
It's that ugly piece of, I go by it every
Is there
day.
any reason why we would or wouldn't want it?
Well, we don't know.
It's far away. It's
It's
open
way
space,
early.
it'd be our first open space.
Okay.
That's a good thing. It's far away, that's a bad thing. It's got money, that's a good thing.
There's
A lot of other
websites.
people want it besides us, so I would say we aren't gonna get it, but.
I've heard the opposite.
I heard nobody
Don't
wants
want
it.
Is that where the,
There's information
is that where the
on
property where the
PA
crusher is, or where they're pumping the
community.
methane?
It's Sully Miller's, right? Sully Miller's property.
Here's
The crusher.
It's the one
No,
that
does anybody know exactly where that property is?
It's the crushing operation.
It's the dirt
Well, there's
place.
two parcels there.
There's
There's
no
the
crusher.
methane.
There's
There's the
no
methane.
No, that's the city.
It's where the rock
I asked
crusher
about
thing is.
Right, it's behind
And
it.
the creek zone all along it.
It's across from that arena thing, right?
Yes, yes.
So somebody put our name on it, so anyway, we're out there.
Now, who's the somebody?
It's currently not a.
Who got a hold of the board?
It's a zoning change
Nobody asked
proposal
us.
right now.
No one came to you guys?
We don't
And
want
how
it.
did you know about it?
Because Linda saw it on a public notice that it was happening, a meeting was happening. So she went to the meeting.
Oh, you saw the meeting, and then Gaynor, or what was her name?
Diane Gaynor.
Gaynor, yeah, Diane Gaynor had mentioned that SMRPD might be interested. Isn't
Somebody
that
put
how
our
it
name
is?
in, So that's all I know. So
Yeah.
it was kind of the first we heard about it, so that's the news.
Yeah, I mean, our name was on the proposal, so amongst a lot of others. I mean, it's
Posey
not,
Parks is on the proposal.
I
And
mean,
they have
Yeah.
parks on both sides of the property.
we were just one of a potential, on a potential list. So I decided to go to the meeting to see what
Mhm.
was about it.
Right.
And I just thought we would mention it, so it's something that's out there, it's 50 acres of open space, I have obviously a lot of questions and we
Yeah.
just.
It's a controversy thing going on down there in North Park, I
Well,
do know
it's
that.
they're asking
OPAs
for a zoning change with the
to their
city
specific
plan.
plan.
But we're not talking about that. We just,
Yeah.
somebody put our name out, so we should be thinking in the next little bit, is that something we even wanna do?
Well, we need to know
Well, we answer
what
to the
it
community,
is.
and the community needs to know what the issues are regarding the
Right.
zoning.
Well, we
It's
would
our
have
vote.
a full presentation. I think we wouldn't even get involved in that part. It's the 50 acres that if it's available, we have to decide, because we're really not involved in the zoning issues. And I think we need to stay out of those.
Yeah.
I think we're just involved in the fact that we need to think about, do we want 50 acres for the SMRPD to manage? And it does come with management money, and how much is that money, and what is the access, and what benefit will our community have? It will have trails, access,
Exactly, we can go
continue.
ride.
Yeah, really nice access
Absolutely.
for trails, and it might be
Yeah.
something
It's still real
that we wanna do or
controversial
not.
though,
We're
because
setting up a tour to go see
in order for the
it.
developer to get the change, the zoning change, they need someone to manage it. So we are a part of that, even though you want to be the management, but we don't want to be a part of a ploy for a developer to change zoning either. I think, that's my opinion.
So I guess this is gonna go to open space. Linda?
I just want some clarification about, we don't know how SMRPD ended up on the list. It just magically appeared.
They fill it.
Well, the developer of that project knows the SMRPD, because some of them work with the Abbey project.
I believe the developer brought our name into it. If it
So
wasn't.
somebody mentioned our name.
Was that bad?
In a
Mentioned our
meeting.
name?
No,
Well,
people
I
are just
mean,
asking how we got involved.
They put one name out, they decided they better put a bunch of names out, and we were here.
Would it actually be detrimental if we had it?
Yes, it could be.
Because
It would cost us a lot of money. I mean, we don't even know.
That's one of the
And it could be,
issues.
yeah, it could be a liability, there may not be access, there may not be parking, I mean, there are a lot
Yeah,
of
this is,
questions.
we're way early in this,
Yeah.
so it's,
But just so that
It's
you
all
know, it's
speculative.
below,
Yeah,
it's
it's
below
on there.
Irvine Park Dam and below Villa Park
Just
Dam.
wait 2 years and
below
our name will be
San
dropped
Diego
off the
Oaks.
list.
Yeah.
Right before the
I think
Coachella
we-
Bond
yeah.
hits.
I
I
think
mean,
we'll be dropped off the
Trails
list
for
pretty
All
quick.
really is hot and heavy after it, so it looks.
Or anything that it has to be approved, but I haven't sent it to Capri, so we can approve it.
Well, thank you for
Since
sending,
it's here.
thank you for doing that work and send it to Capri so they're happy with us.
Bev, here's for files, and I'll email it to Capri. So you don't have to do it anymore, I'll just email it.
I asked, that's a fine, $5 fine. So the, not when you're done. Okay, I asked Shay to, we get stuff from Capri, our insurance company, and they have these classes, and if we go to the classes, we get a discount off of our insurance premium. So I forwarded off to Shay, and you're gonna look into seeing about going to some other classes.
Yeah, I just, I didn't have, it was less than 24 hours notice to take that class, and I didn't. My husband was on the floor with an injury, so I didn't do it. So, I mean.
My wife would have left me.
Oh, no, it was on.
A six-pack?
How do you think I got there? She kicked me a couple.
So I told her that I want to do the next one, and she said she'll let me know when it comes up, that they have a few during the year, and it gives us credits, correct?
Yeah.
We save money. We save money on our pre-insurance if I do this on the.
Okay, one of the things we need to think of though is if we have to send her too far away, we don't save enough money, then maybe we won't do it.
Well, some of these are online.
Yeah, they're webinars.
It was a webinar, so, yeah.
You should call her and make sure that she really put you on the email.
Okay, all right.
Because I don't see them until it's too late.
Right, I asked her to put me on, but, yeah. I want a little bit of heads up, because it's like a 2 or 3 hour webinar.
Okay, Ron, open space.
yeah.
What do you want? Go ahead.
I had a meeting with Dan Fu before I left a week or so ago, because there was some, he was gonna call me, it turns out, because there was some concern over the Measure M funds being used for things other than open space and mitigation. And he said that's absolutely not, I think Supervisor Bates made a comment, oh, we have this extra money, let's use it for paving or dots or whatever, and it's not gonna happen. It's all gonna be used for good stuff. What he was gonna call me about is, everybody knows that they just acquired the McPherson property, and there are 2 phases of management. One is an interim, and the other is a longer term, and he said he thought of us. There'd be some money with it. He thought of us managing it.
Where's
And
this
it'd be an
property?
easy
Sorry.
piece of property because it's landlocked.
Where's this property, I'm sorry?
The horse stables was behind Dana's horse stables. Up against the Irvine fence, behind Danny Brown's, all the way over to the Holtz property.
Got it.
And up to Dan Dulack's home.
So both, okay.
204 acres.
How close to the back of Danny Brown's property?
Pretty close, because Danny said today he accidentally, thought it was his property, and they told him, we gotta put a fence across here for 18 months or whatever, and you're
Stuff's
on
on
our
our
property, and he went, oh, crap.
I'm sure that's probably not what he said, but.
There's survey markers out there, fence markers.
Yeah, and I've been going out there every day, because that's my favorite hiking trail. And they put up a sign, really nice sign, saying within the next 90 days, we will have a fence here, you know, a fence put up here, because there will be surveying going on. This property was purchased by OCTA with measurement funds, blah, blah, blah.
And there is some, the prevailing thought was, and their thought was, that once they acquire a property, it's gonna be like closed to the public for 2 years. There is some leeway on this piece of property, he said, that
That would be really
they
nice.
would consider opening it up.
So we get open spaces, but we can't go on it.
We're fighting for this one, because this is a favorite trail.
Yeah, and I brought that up, and he did say that.
That would be really helpful right now.
River Ranch and Tribuco are kind of on the same boat. They're gonna open it up sooner or later, but just not sooner rather than later.
That's my pet peeve with them, and we need
I
to
know.
come up with something where it
I've been
says,
talking
look,
to him as well.
yeah, it's not acceptable that this is all public property around here,
Right.
and we're not trusted to go on the public property. I
Well,
mean,
there was
Yeah,
an
but
issue.
the point is that they have to evaluate what's on
They
their
do.
property.
They do.
So, because there could be,
Yes.
you know, species or something
They're
that's
accountable to
very
that.
valuable.
Well,
And
we
you
don't,
can't,
Yeah,
They-
they're
they have-
accountable for
Since
that.
their process.
You gotta remember, they build roads, so to build the
Yes,
roads, they have to
speed that up.
buy open
The
space
issue
to
with
mitigate.
River Ranch and the
road
reason that they
going
closed it was because there was too much illegal dumping of horse manure up there, so that's why they closed it to begin with. Just in case anybody wants to know.
so the horses were like carrying up extra bags.
No,
Yeah,
someone
there's
had
a ranch
permission to
nearby, I
be in there.
believe. I don't know for sure, but that's
Somebody
where
died.
it might have come from.
Okay, any other committee reports? Any ad hoc committee reports? Any director's comments? Mr. Sneezy?
None from me.
Director Linda? I can't think of anything. I had one, but I forgot it already. Ron, do you have any?
I got a flyer in the mail today. What was it? There's some golf tournament planned on the Riviera.
Oh, I saw that. I saw that. What's up with that?
I don't know.
Hitting rocks or something?
It's
And that-
not
that did-
really golf. There's a group of canyon people that go over there and they hit rocks.
Oh, shit.
It's their golf club. It's Silverado Golf Club.
Oh,
They don't hit rocks, they
They
make
hit
a
rocks.
But isn't that
ball
supposed
out
to
of
be
a piece of
private property
PVC.
now?
And I guess,
That was why I got the email. Asking, do you guys know about this? I said, I never even heard of
I
it.
don't
I saw it
participate. I
too,
don't
yeah.
know.
So is the Abbey opposed to
So
it, or?
who knows the details? Because
they just
we're
left.
actually managing it. Sorry?
You didn't wanna know.
I think they
Yeah, I
just
don't
left.
So-
I think
I have no idea.
nothing left.
Kevin Todd sent it
Let's
out.
go.
I got, Kevin Todd sent it, I
Okay,
said
we'll
the same
talk.
thing, he's on.
You got
I mean, we just need to, because it's part of our management, we just need to have the conversation.
I thought we managed the parking lot.
The Riviera, yeah, the parking.
Yeah.
Oh, we do.
If you look at the
That's
map,
not
we
a
only
parking lot.
manage where people
They don't play
park.
golf in the parking lot.
We
so then it
don't
would
manage any of the,
And the Riviera itself.
Yeah.
We figured they
So-
figured they'd have to park there, I guess, I don't know.
unless they want to
well
start cutting.
played.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
kinda cute,
I don't know
actually.
anything about it, and they've never had it before, so.
Shay, any comments?
Yeah, I want to say something. I review the videos, putting them online, and I'm sorry I'm late on two of them. They just getting posted tonight. December and the special meeting will be posted on YouTube tonight. And I noticed that when we came into the December meeting, it was Linda Kern's first meeting, and we just kind of went into the meeting and we didn't welcome her. So welcome you.
Oh, well,
I think we all got a welcome to the board when we came in. We just kind of got straight
no.
into business.
I didn't get a welcome when I got on the board.
I'm sorry.
Well, I didn't get welcome
Okay.
either.
Different circumstances.
All right, our next meeting will be back at the community center. The regular meeting will be on February 25th. It sounds like there may be some committee meetings in the meantime. So the deal with the committee meeting is that there's 2 board members on a committee. If the 3rd board member wants to go, you have to tell them like at least a week ahead, because it becomes a special meeting. And there's no problem with anybody going, it just, you have to tell your committee person head so that they can get their agenda published.
What are we gonna do with the policy committee now? It became a special meeting. Are we going back to committee, or are we gonna have another special policy meeting?
Let me say that again.
Have a meeting, discuss
There
it.
is a committee meeting coming up. If a third board member, if any of us
okay.
wants to go to any of those meetings, it becomes a special meeting. It's still a committee only, that's the only topic.
Oh,
I mean, theoretically, you could add other stuff, but
okay, so we need to
we're
set a
not
date,
going
is what
to.
you're saying.
So you got, whoever's gonna run your things, tell the other board members, we need to tell them like a week ahead if you wanna come. I personally think that the policy committee is important enough that we should all be going, because it gives us time to sit and talk about stuff and ramifications, because then what happens, if you don't, it comes here and they present it, and whoever didn't go is gonna say, well, what about this and what about that, and it wastes people's time. So if something really important, I think we should be thinking about if we wanna go to those meetings. And then it becomes a special meeting,
Special meeting.
but I think that whoever is the chair of that first committee, then they run that meeting. But there's just happens to be 3 board members or 4 or 5 board
Okay,
members there.
and so since we had that issue with the agenda and stuff, are you saying the committee member chair will be the special meeting chair and will make the agenda? Is that what we're
Yes.
deciding right now?
Well, that's what I assumed.
Okay.
That's what I just assumed, I just
And
did the
that's
first
not what I
one.
assumed, but,
How about this? How about we go to Robert's Rules of Order and we look up how to do the committee meetings and how to do it the way that you're supposed to? And that way we don't assume
I'll look at it.
anything.
I'll read it.
And because when you have like tonight is a regular meeting, and then when you have a special meeting is a whole board, what they call a whole board, you guys are a whole board right now, all 5 of you. Three can,
Robert's rules.
three
people
can
at
be
the special
considered a
meeting.
whole board, because on a regular meeting, 2 people could not show up, but you still have a quorum. So it doesn't matter if there's 3 or 5, but it's
It becomes
still,
a
it's still a board
regular
meeting. And then when you have a committee meeting, you agendize it, committee meeting, and you have 2 directors usually at a committee meeting. And if a third person wants to come,
he's saying,
they
I
sit
just-
in the back, and they can't interact.
Actually, when I talked to the clerk of the board about it, she said it would really be better that the third person does not show up at all.
Exactly. So if you do
No,
come, you have
no.
to sit in the back and not say a
No.
word.
No, she said that if a third person's gonna go to a committee meeting, you shouldn't go.
Right.
If you tell the chairman of your committee meeting ahead of time, would convert it to a special meeting. You just run it with the committee topics and run it, and it essentially
It's a
becomes a
special
work,
And-
it becomes a work meeting.
And again, the Robert's Rules of Order has all that in there. You can just read it. You don't have to ask anybody. You can just read it, and it tells you exactly
Well, I just
what to
told them
do.
how it's gonna work, unless you guys find Robert's rule says something
The
different.
Robert's rules just governs the conduct of
Right.
meetings.
Governs
And
it.
it's not, special meeting's not any different than this meeting.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Right.
Brett's point is, are we setting it up correctly? I think
Right.
we're setting it up correctly.
And you can
based
just
on
read
what
it real
I
quick. It's
said.
such a short read.
So we're
It's
not
so
reading it now.
simple.
You tell us later. Okay, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Thank
get
you all for
started right
coming.
away.
Robert's rules.
Huh?
Not about Robert's rules.
oh, what time?